Hello, and welcome to Riftwalkers. I'm Noah, the voice of Vamak. If you're enjoying the show, make sure to leave us a review or share it with your friends. That is the best way to help the podcast grow. We appreciate you listening in and look forward to our many adventures. Here's Riftwalkers.
Last time, after consorting with Wu Lin, Ria, and the organization they belonged to called the Fang, the party ventured forth into the southwest part of the Vale to combat a great monster, or spirit that had possessed a construct made by an offshoot of the Wardens who called themselves the Order of the Forest. After an intense battle, the spirit fled inside a nearby cave, with the party in hot pursuit. While searching through the inky black darkness and spelunking down a rather treacherous chimney, Luca took an unfortunate fall, falling 90 feet into a massive cavern below. Now, the slow drip of water and the quiet crash of tiny waves upon a black sand beach fill Luca's ears as he slowly blinks awake. A dim light glistens on the cavern walls that rise into the shadows around him. And I'm going to have you roll a Constitution saving throw.
14. Oh, wait, do I add my Constitution modifier to that? Because in which case it's 16.
So, as you draw in a breath, you're greeted only with an immense pain as air flaps in your chest against a collapsed and punctured lung. White and black spots cloud your vision as a greater blue light appears to grow brighter and float toward you.
I try to drag my body towards it, not understanding, like, I'm not actually able to move, right? So, like, I reach out, but I'm, like, grabbing at the coarse black sand, because it's, like, the only thing I can see. But there's no strength in my arm. Like, all it really does is claw at the sand.
So, as you reach out, pain twists in your gut once more as a protruding rib pulls at your flesh and you nearly black out. However, as the light approaches, you see something that's utterly eerie. Similar to the wisp-like creature you encountered when you first entered the New World, this beast is a large, floating sphere, bits of light whisking around it like fire in slow motion, like a burning star. But you feel cold, numb, and as it approaches, you hear it speak in your mind as your vision comes into focus on the hundreds of screaming skulls dancing inside of it. Up above with the other three, a great rumble shakes stone and dust loose from the ceiling, disrupting your torches and letting the inky blackness around you encroach just a little further.
We need to get out of here. Now!
I agree.
We can't just leave him. He didn't even want to come on this journey.
Lyrian, he fell. It must have been over 100 feet, I don't know, but it was a long time before we heard anything. He couldn't have survived.
I agree with Reese. Luca is probably dead. The fool did not accept any of my climbing equipment, and he has brought this upon himself. Let us leave before it brings damnation upon us all.
Lyrian, although I don't see it quite as brashly, Vamak is right, we need to go.
Fine.
And Reese kind of turns, starting to leave.
Do the other two follow him?
Yes.
Yes, Lyrian follows.
All right. So then as you travel back through the tunnels, the darkness actually seems to intensify. And by the time you reach the chamber with the central pillar, it's almost all-encompassing. The pillar in the middle of the room is different than before, however. It pulses, writhes, as it seems covered by a dark viscous fluid that begins to stretch out and reach toward you all.
Reese immediately pulls his greatsword off his back and tries to take a swipe at one of them.
All right, roll for attack.
That was an 8.
As your greatsword impacts one of these tendrils, we'll call them, it whips itself around your sword and begins to tug you inward.
Great. Okay.
Do a strength saving throw real quick.
Sweet. All right, that's going to be a 16.
All right, you are able to wrench your sword free and can take a few paces back if you so desire.
I do.
Lyrian draws back his bow and takes aim and fires. 25.
That is an easy hit.
11.
So your arrow impacts the mass, and you see it kind of send a ripple all throughout it. And it's really less like a ripple, but more like when you put a magnet by ferrous fluid. Like, it just all kind of juts out in an opposite direction to where the impact was. And then you hear this strange scream permeate the air, and these tendrils and whatnot intensify in both size and speed as they begin to whip out at the three of you.
Without hesitation, after seeing Lyrian's arrow find its mark, Vamok lets out a quick 1-2 punch of Eldritch Blast, rolling 13 on the first one, and
That's a hit.
20 on the second one,
That's a hit.
dealing 19 damage between the two of them.
So as these two bolts just impact on this pillar, you see this fluid blasted away, and you actually, for a split second after each impact, see the stone of the pillar itself before more fluid is drawn from other parts to cover it back up.
Ew.
And then it explodes outward. These spindly little worms covering the wall and your armor and yourselves and the floor, looking for any way to harm you. Flashing down back into the cavern to Luca, as you observe this creature and hear it speak, it talks in a tongue that you do not understand, and then in 1,000 languages all at once, until finally you recognize words in Fellish, the common speech of this world that you learned before you came. And it says,
Luca Cole, you are an anomaly.
and then your body begins to rise off the ground, rather unceremoniously, like a rag doll.
Your mind has pictures etched upon it. In this world, you know so little. Wrestle for control. But your friends could never aid you, as you'd long since damned your soul.
A tendril of fire snakes out from its form and licks your wounds. A burning pain sears you as cuts suddenly age to scars. Bones snap together, their bits and pieces ripping your insides as they mend.
A vessel you will become. My mark you will bear. No matter how far you stray. The gods of this world cannot redeem you, for to them you shan't pray. Your mind and mine will save us. The life of evil you will steal. Of choice you have, as always, if you wish your wounds to heal.
Your ribs pop back into place, and muscle and flesh stretch across the open tears in your skin. Your lung inflates as you draw breath once more, and your eyes dance with the same fire as this creature. You can speak again.
So Luca, he recognized it appears similar to the elf or thing that was in its shape, but it also seems much more powerful than whatever that thing was. So Luca just kind of, gasping for the first few breaths because he's now able to breathe with relatively little pain now. He says, "What are you?"
A mural of ages past in me you'll see. But cross me and you will join them. Imprisoned here I wait for tribute. My champion you will be.
You feel another great pain in your abdomen as a rib bursts from beneath your skin, spattering blood upon the dark, wet stone below you. A tendril flame cauterizes your wound, leaving a strange scar behind, and then grips the rib and molds it into a wicked dagger, before etching a strange symbol on its pommel. Then, a second finger of flame reaches up and marks your forehead with the exact same symbol.
The essence in the veins of Egadon I require. Abandon those of your world and your own desires. Bring me 100 souls of those that do ill. Reclaim your life and pay your debt with every kill.
Then, in a burst of pain and light, you vanish. Back in the central room with the pillar, these inky worms now creep upon your skin, burning you and your armor, each of them, to each of you, dealing 7 damage.
Okay, now Vamok, immediately upon taking damage from this, gets really... He seems like he's kind of pissed, like when you drop a heavy box on your foot or something. And he casts Hellish Rebuke as a reaction.
Okay.
So the goop has to make a dexterity saving throw.
It fails.
Okay, then it will take 18 damage.
actually dealing 36 damage. As this liquid lights up almost as if it were oil on the surface of water. And all these little worms that were burning you are just shriveled into nothingness and smoke.
Seeing that the fire was so effective, Vamok is going to then cast Fireball, and it has to make a dexterity saving throw.
Does an 11 pass?
It does not, so that is going to take 8d6
Cool.
of
I got
damage.
3 right here if you want to.
The Fireball deals 29 damage.
Well, in actuality, it deals 58 damage as this fireball streaks at the pillar and completely engulfs it in flame. The remaining bits...
Oh, hang on. Before we go any further in this, are all of us within a 20-foot radius?
Yes.
Then we all take that damage. It's a fireball, boys. I should have thought of that one. I should have just cast Burning Hands or something.
Wait, like...
Sorry, everybody.
What? So it explodes in a 20-foot radius?
No, everybody has to make a dexterity saving throw.
Oh, okay. And an 11 doesn't cut it. Okay.
You have to get 14 or higher.
Whew. Got a 15, actually.
14.
Okay, cool.
So everyone then takes
Half
damage, including yourself.
Yeah.
So half of the 29, right?
Half of the 29, which is like 14.
Yes.
Sorry, I just gave everybody like a minor wound. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, is that a minor wound for everyone?
Minor wound for Vamok, tell you that much for nothing.
Yep.
Yes.
All right, then you all suffer minor burns, which means you will take a -2 to strength and dexterity checks
Cap.
until that is treated. And so, as I was saying, the fluid that was encompassing this pillar is just completely burned away, and the remaining bits in the room coalesce on the pillar to shield it and quench the flames that are there, before coming forward and forming an almost humanoid figure in front of it, locked in a roaring position.
Lyrian draws his bow again and fires. 23.
That is a hit.
11 damage.
Okay, your arrow streaks into it and sends it reeling back, and then it lets out a hideous scream that you all hear in your minds. Everyone has to make a wisdom saving throw, except Luca, you're not here yet.
Yet.
20.
17 for Vamok.
22.
Everyone is able to withstand this psychic scream. And then a flash of light appears above and behind the figure, between it and the pillar, as Luca falls from the ceiling.
All right. I think Luca's going to attack.
Okay.
So falling from the ceiling, I immediately pull up my rapier and I go to stab. Nat 20.
Wow, dang. Rolling a lot of nat 20s lately.
Seriously, yeah.
Not bad. Okay, Luca crits.
All right,
Luca.
roll damage. That's
You should
obviously
fall
a
from the
hit.
ceiling more often.
Oh, no, wait. It's max. A crit.
Max on one, and
Max
then
on
roll
one.
another.
32 damage.
Stabbing down from the ceiling with your rapier, you deal a killing blow, eviscerating this creature as this black sludge falls into a puddle at your feet, and you hear a strange cry emanating from it. And then rising from the puddle is this black mist, the same type of miasmic cloud that you saw escape the Leshen, hangs in the air for just a second in front of Luca.
Luca is going to swing at it.
With the rapier?
Well, so he's holding the dagger, the weird dagger, in his offhand. And he's going to swing at it with that.
Okay, roll.
Yeah, that was only an 11.
So as you swing, it darts away from you and then flies out of the cave from where you came in.
So right after swinging my dagger at this thing, I feel like for a second it like catches the tail end of this cloud, and there's just a burning both in my hand where I'm gripping this dagger and on my forehead. And I turn, kind of crouching into myself, and I grab something, wrapping it around my head, covering the mark on my forehead.
And then Reese, seeing this crouched figure who just had appeared from nowhere, a flash of light, approaches with his sword up and then reaches out with his offhand and whips the figure around.
Turning around, his normal rapier hand being occupied holding this bandage against his head, Luca turns, he has his dagger out, and he just sees it's Reese. He kind of jolts back into reality, and he calms down pretty quickly after that, ready to go on.
Luca! What? And he kind of turns around to Vamok and Lyrian like...
Lyrian sees Luca and he says, Luca, how are you alive?
Well, it's been an interesting few moments.
Well, you certainly look better than I thought you would, and Reese is kind of paying particular attention really to all of you. He's like looking you up and down, and he notices the dagger in your hand. Where did you get that? And he kind of starts reaching for it just out of curiosity.
Luca, you see him, he's holding back, he's thinking about it. Okay, and he flips it over and he hands it to Reese, and he says, well, it came from me.
From you? What do you mean? And he starts looking. Is it like so carved?
It's only one rib. You wouldn't be able to tell.
Right.
But I could
I'm assuming
definitely tell you.
Yeah. Would you be able to tell that it was a rib, or is it just like so carved?
Oh, yeah, I guess the bone. I don't know.
It's pretty different now.
It's pretty different now. Okay. So yeah, he's just observing it. He notices the mark. He notices the kind of wicked nature of the blade. He notices that it's bone. Where did you... Never mind. We can discuss this later. We need to get out of this cave.
To be honest, I could not agree more. Let's go. And Luca snatches that back, paying no heed to whatever Reese was doing with it. It's like back in his hand instantly. And as he does that, he puts it away. He finds just kind of a loose fold of cloth with a sturdy place to put it for now. And you see him wrapping tighter and more securely this bandage he has on his forehead.
So, and as Luca turns to go, you hear the mural's voice once more in your head, and it says,
You'll find no quarry in this vale. Touch the mark and make the door. Depart now forever from the world of yore.
Luca, as we start, as people are filing out, we're kind of getting ready to move. He goes, wait, hold on a moment. After I fell, I had resigned myself to my death. But I ended up washed up on a beach, maybe, I don't know, some underground cavern, some land down there. Broken, battered, and torn. I was not making it much farther. And a being similar to that thing called an elf, it appeared to me, it healed me, it sent me here near you. And I'm not sure why. This dagger is one of the ribs that was broken. It's been reformed rather, having pulled it out, it's been transformed rather aggressively, but
Wait. This being took your rib and formed it into a dagger. What does he expect you to do with the blasted thing?
I'm not sure, but something about hunting evil. It felt like when I attacked that mass, that cloud, that's what I'm looking for. So I think we need to find more. I don't know where, however, it appears like this being has some sort of connection to me and told me to touch the mark and it will take us where we need to go.
And Reese just kind of eyes the mark on the pommel of the dagger. I'm assuming he's referring to that, and he points at it.
Yes, I believe so. I don't know where this will take us, and I don't really know what will come of us after we go, but I doubt that we will return to Yellowford or to anyone here with any great speed.
Luca, you're obviously visibly shaken. Why don't we leave the cave, go find Wu Lin,
Reese,
and then he can help us
and
out.
Luca reaches to Reese. He grabs him by the shoulder, and not like holding an arm on there, like grabbing his collar. I guess he can't grab. He's probably wearing some sort of mail. So he's hanging on to whatever Reese has on his shoulder, and he's like, Reese, if I walk out of this cave and I am not doing whatever this thing asks, I will die. I can feel it.
And Reese kind of shakes his hand off. What does that mean? This does not sound like a benign being. It cannot be some fighter of evil.
It means my life will end, and that is it.
How do we know we can trust this thing? You said it was like the elf. That thing tore Otis apart.
This thing stitched my body back together as I breathed my last second of life. I have no doubt that should it decide to, I would not take one step without losing it. I know that we have things that we must do. I know that we all have responsibilities, but we know that the Rift Wardens aren't doing anything. We defeated the Forest Construct, and nothing we do is going to help these groups come back together. That's something they need to work out on their own.
Well, yes, I can agree to that point, but throwing our lot in with some creature that we found inside of a cave doesn't sound like the best plan either.
I don't have a choice. Whether you accompany me or not, I am not leaving through that door. But if you accompany me, one day I might be free of this.
So you are saying we must abandon the Rift Wardens?
Lamak, to be true, I never thought you had...
I will do it.
And you, Larian, Reese, will you come?
This seems rather stupid, but I am glad you're alive. I at least have this being to thank for that. However, once we are out, we need to figure out what we can do to try to avoid any further interaction with it. We will do what it takes to keep you alive, but I can't help but feeling that it has some ulterior motive.
Lyrian looks at Luca and he says, "If you truly believe that this will save you, I will come."
Good, then. Let us go. And Luca turns, and he turns, he's kind of see him rubbing the bandage. He's not looking at anyone now, so people don't see that he's actually taken the hand of the dagger, kind of rubbing it against his head. The mark is on the pommel, correct?
Yes.
And he actually is rubbing that against the other mark, the two marks together.
And you feel an immense burning as then a ring of black and purple energy opens before you.
Does it look like the rift?
A little bit.
Okay, cool. Interesting. That could have some interesting lore applications. Luca lowers his hand and steps through.
Vamak doesn't hesitate. After he sees Luca go through the portal, he too follows.
Before Lyrian goes through, he's still pretty wary, so he actually draws his sword in case something happens and walks through.
And Reese approaches it, takes one last look around the room, kind of shakes his head and goes through.
And in the next second, the four of you are flying through the air and then crash down through a wooden roof and into a big pile of hay, startling the myriad of chickens and goats and cows in the barn that you've just crash landed in. A small child holding a pitchfork stands at the entrance, and who then drops it, screams, and bolts toward a nearby farmhouse.
You know, I should really stop trusting these portals.
Reese kind of brushes off some hay from himself as he's standing up. Well, I'll admit, it's not as bad as I was thinking it would be. Let's find out where we are. And he kind of starts approaching the door to the barn.
And you see a woman running toward you with a spear and a leather jerkin and chaps, her hair tied in a bun atop her head, and her eyes just furious.